Welcome back to Movement Project, where the goal is to expose the truth about musculoskeletal health, helping you avoid unnecessary treatment. The focus of this video is the dreadful condition tennis elbow, that nagging, sometimes sharp pain on the outside aspect of your elbow. Let's get right into the treatment ingredients. There's tons of good content about tennis elbow on the web, but I take some issue with the order of the ingredients for the treatment. If you're gonna make French toast and you go to the store, it's important not only that you get the right ingredients, but the order that you load them into your bag. If you put the eggs and then the bread and then the milk on top of all those, you're gonna have a disaster. We wanna make sure we order our treatment in the correct sequence. First thing we're gonna do is, contrary to most other treatments, is not stretch. We're gonna actually mobilize. And we're gonna start by mobilizing the joints. So if we dig into the elbow, we can see we have two bones in the forearm. We have our radius and our ulna. This radius has an attachment to the humerus up above and the ulna. If that joint, that bone gets really stiff when you're trying to do it, oh boy. The radius has a joint with the humerus above and the ulna beside it. If that radius gets really stiff, it can cause all sorts of excess friction and lead to inflammation. So we want to make sure our radius is moving first before we do any of the other exercises. To do that, you're just going to take the heel of your hand and apply it right on top of your radius. So here's your radius and here's your ulna. And then you're just going to grab your fingers on the back side and just keep your injured arm really relaxed and just oscillate back and forth about 20 times. And once you complete that, we want to move it up and down like a piston, because that radius needs to move up and down in that direction and be able to absorb force. If it can't move real well, it's like a shock in your car. If it's not moving well, then the force is going to go somewhere. In this case, it goes right into your tendon. So we want to make sure we have that radial head moving up and down and moving back and forth. Now that you have your joint loose, you can move on to increasing the circulation of those muscles and tendons. I'm just using the handle of a butter knife here, 45-degree angle, and I'm going to scrape upward from bottom to top for about 30 to 45 seconds till I see maybe a little bit of redness. If you do get redness prior to that, you want to stop and then you're ready to go. An alternative would be to use a tennis ball or any type of ball and massage along those tendons for about 30 seconds. You could manually grab that tendon and try to move that side to side to increase that pliability. If you happen to own a massage gun, you can use that for 30 seconds. 60 seconds at most on that muscle and tendon prior to getting into the next phase of the treatment, which is isometric strengthening of the tendon and muscle in the forearm. And when we talk about strengthening and stretching this tendon, there's going to be more forces on the tendon when our elbow is straight. So we always start off these protocols with the elbow bent. You're going to have your elbow bent, and then you're just going to lift the wrist and you're going to hold that, start off for 10 seconds. Now our goal for tendon loading is to increase that to 30 seconds. This is not a maximal isometric hold. Just start about 50% of your maximum and try to sustain that for that 30 seconds ultimately. Again, begin with 10, work yourself up to 20 until you can get to 30, and you start with one set and then build up to 3 sets. You're also going to do the flexors on the opposite side. I call it a loose fist. You're not going to punch anyone, but you just have your fingers curled, and then again, resisting motion downward. So it's this motion and then hold and then resist yourself. If you have pain in both arms, do one arm at a time, and you can use something that is immovable like a table for your counterforce. If it's too painful to do the wrist extension, just skip that for a while and focus on the wrist flexion. A lot of times when we strengthen the muscles on the opposite side of the arm, it will cause relaxation of those lateral epicondyle tendons and muscles, and then you'll be able to work into that as the days pass. Start off with the flexion extension isometrics, then you'll progress to pronation, which is moving the palm down and resisting that direction, and then supination, which is flipping the palm up, resist that direction, and then lastly, radial deviation up and ulnar deviation down. So resisting up and down. Start with the flexion extension. That might be enough to give you the relief you're looking for. You can use the pronation, supination, radial deviation, and ulnar deviation if those first two exercises don't get you over the hump. If you mastered the isometrics, you move on to isotonics, which is where you're bringing that wrist from a lower position to an elevated position. We want to start by strengthening the flexors, because that will offset that overuse of the extensors. One of the most difficult parts of the treatment will be strengthening the extensors, or the problem area is going to be weaker than flexors. So you're going to need a lighter weight when you do your extensors, probably half to start that you use for flexors. Start with your elbow bent, Arms supported, elbows shouldn't pop up. And as you gradually extend the elbow, it becomes more and more difficult. So this position is going to be more strain on that lateral epicondyle. This is less strain. Start with somewhere in between 6 and 8 reps, work up to 12 to 15 repetitions, 2 to 3 sets, 3 times a week. You'll see your strength and hopefully pain decrease. Finally, we can do the step of the treatment program that most people like to lead off with, which is classic stretching. We're going to do a 30-second hold 3 times each, and we're just going to start with the flexion and extension stretching, much like we did with the isometrics. So when we stretch out our extensor muscles, which are the ones that are most irritated in tennis elbow, we're going to make that loose fist again, and we're going to relax completely, dead weight, and pull that with the opposite arm. And we want to hold that 30 seconds. Now, the straighter you get your elbow, the more stretch and tension you're going to put into those tendons and muscles. So you want it to be tolerable, and there should be some mild pain, maybe a 3 out of 10. The pain should largely go away when you stop the stretch and not be further irritated. But hold on to that stretch, about 30 seconds is the key. Next, we're gonna do the forearm flexor stretching, palm up, have the fingers extended because those tendons run down here. We pull the fingers and wrist down, then begin to straighten the elbow until you feel that stretch that's mildly uncomfortable, about a 3 out of 10. Start with 10 seconds if you need to, but again, the goal for all stretches, 30 seconds. Start with 1, then work your way up to 3 sets and do that daily. Still not better after 3 to 4 weeks of this treatment? You might be missing some key components of your tennis elbow rehab, like neck mobility, scapular stability, or issues with your carpal bones in your wrist. If you'd like to see another video with more details about tennis elbow treatment, be sure to leave a comment down below. To watch a video on another frustrating condition, knee pain, click up here. To subscribe to the channel, click over here. You want to keep improving, you got to keep it moving.